a small, quiet town lived a young man named Eli. He wasn't lazy, at least not in the way people thought. He dreamed of doing something meaningful, getting fit, starting a business, learning a new skill. Every Monday, he'd make plans, big plans, and by Friday, they were gone, buried under excuses and self-doubt. Each failure left a scar. He would sit by his window at night, staring into the darkness, whispering to himself, "Maybe I'm just not built for greatness." Then one day, after another broken promise to himself, Eli walked into a small coffee shop to clear his head. There, he met an old man sitting alone, writing in a notebook. His hands trembled slightly, but his eyes were calm, like someone who had seen life from every angle. The old man looked up and said, "You look like someone fighting a silent war." Eli forced a smile. "I just can't seem to stay consistent. I start, I stop. I want to change my life, but it's too much." The old man chuckled softly. "Too much? You're trying to move a mountain in one day, boy. But what if you just moved one pebble every day?" Eli frowned. What difference would that make? The man closed his notebook and said, "A pebble a day doesn't look like much. Until one morning, you realize the mountain has moved." Those words stayed in Eli's mind long after he left. That night, he wrote 3 words on a sticky note. Just 1% better. The next morning, Eli didn't run 5 kilometers. He just walked around the block. He didn't read an entire book, just 2 pages. He didn't overhaul his life. He just made his bed. It felt almost meaningless at first, but he told himself, "This is my 1% today." The next day, he did the same, one small thing, and then another. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Slowly, something began to shift, not just in his body or his routines, but in his belief. Before, he used to say, "I can't." Now he said, "Maybe I can, a little." And that little was everything. Every time Eli wanted to quit, he'd remember the old man's words, "Move one pebble." And so he did. Some days, it was hard. Some days, he only managed half of what he planned. But unlike before, he didn't stop. Because the 1% rule wasn't about perfection. It was about direction. A year passed. One morning, Eli woke up early. The sunrise spilled through his window, painting the walls gold. He looked around his small apartment, books stacked neatly, a calendar full of check marks, a pair of running shoes that looked worn but proud. He smiled. It wasn't pride in how far he'd come. It was peace in knowing he'd never given up. That day, as he walked past the same coffee shop, he saw the old man again, still writing, still calm. Eli walked up and said, "You were right." The mountain moved. The old man smiled and replied, "No, son. You did." Later that night, Eli sat by his window again, just like all those nights before. But this time, he wasn't whispering, "Maybe someday." He was writing a letter to himself. "Dear me from a year ago, you didn't need to change your whole life overnight. You just needed to start. Small, simple, steady. Because every 1% built the person I am today. Thank you for not giving up." He folded the note, placed it beside his bed, and smiled. Outside, the night was quiet, but inside, something was glowing, a light that no failure could ever dim.